Hey, it's Joey for Digital DJ Tips, and in this video, I'm going to give you a talk through of Odyssey. Odyssey is a musical sketchpad that works in your browser or as an app for your Mac or PC. So in this video, we're going to do two things. First up, I'm going to give you a features rundown of Odyssey, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Let's go. Alright, so I'm going to give you a talk through of Odyssey. I've already downloaded and installed the app on my Mac. So I'm just going to double click on the icon to launch it. Here we go. And it takes a few seconds to load. And once it's loaded, you're going to be brought to the My Projects page. This is where you're going to find all of your existing projects. I've been using Odyssey for a while now. The first time was, 2 years ago. So I've got my projects from 2 years back. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create a new project just so I can give you guys a walkthrough of the features of the app. And then later on, we're going to open up an existing project that I have. Right, so let's go create that new project. I'm just going to call this JT Talkthrough. There we go. Okay, so now this is the main Odyssey window. You can see the split into 3 parts. Over here in the middle, you're going to find the actual grid of Odyssey. This is where the notes are going to be placed later on, as you will see. Over here on the left, you've got a piano roll. These are piano notes, so you don't need to record those. If you scroll down, you're going to find the drums over here. Yeah, so there we go. And over here at the top, you're going to find transport controls, play, stop, record. You got to mention them over here, as well as a loop, because you can set a loop, as you're going to see later on. And you can also set a number of parameters over here. You've got your musical key and the type of scale, as well as tempo and all that other stuff. Now, over here on the right side, you're going to find the track section. You have 4 tracks over here right now. Let's start here at the bottom. You've got drums. So if you left click on drums, you can just click on add drums over here, and Odyssey will automatically add a drum pattern for you. So if you hit the space bar or the play button over here, you can hear that pattern. That's a drum pattern, and you didn't have to do anything. Odyssey automatically plays that one for you. Now, if you want to change this up, all you gotta do is to click it, and then go to the drums menu over here, left click on it, and you will be able to find a big selection of different types of drum loops that vary depending on the style of music that you'd like to produce. So let's say you want to come up with like a house beat over here. Just click on that and then close the window. Then when you hit play, the drums change. Now you can also audition different types of drum loops. All you gotta do is to open up the drum window and then just go through the different types of drums. And you're gonna hear it straight away. So this is a really cool way to come up with a quick rhythmic foundation for your project. If you're in a rush or if you are not keen on creating drum parts, this is a really, really big time saver. So let's go set it to, let's just use house group for now. I'm going to close the drum window. So now let's move on to another track. Let's go to chords. I'm going to left click on the chords track over here. And I'm going to left click on add chord progression. And when I do that, I'm going to hear a sample of what that chord progression sounds like. So if you left click on the chords window over here, you're going to find a lot of different progressions. These are some of the most used chord progressions in dance music. Yeah, let's use this one. So I'm going to close that. And now I've got my chord progression over here. So let's play this back. Yeah. So it's a very nice poppy sounding chord progression. And right now, the patch that we're using are the piano strings patch. And we can change this just by left clicking on it. And again, you have like dozens of different types of sounds that you can use here. Let's try going with this one. Yeah, it's just a more muted electric piano sound. So I'm going to keep that for now. And at the moment, we've got a drums track over here, as well as a chord progression. So what's missing is a bass line. I'm going to left click on the bass line track. And again, it's just as easy as clicking on add. I'm going to add a bass line over here. And Odyssey will automatically fill in the notes for you. So let's hear what this sounds like. Yeah, so that's a pretty basic bass line that you've got here. And you can tell Odyssey how you would like that bass melody to go. So let's say you're not happy with the way that the bass line sounds at the moment. Just left click on shape over here. And you can have several variations on the bass line. So So now you've got a different feel for the bass line. And if you still would like to tweak that even more, all you gotta do is to left click on Edit MIDI, and it will convert these notes into MIDI data. So that means that you can move them around. Again, you can even change the way the bass sounds. There are different bass patches here. Let's choose one. Okay, future bass. And I'm gonna dial down the reverb here. You can add delay reverb or even use a filter effect if you like. So just a couple of customization options for your sounds here. Now, if you noticed, I accidentally moved this note and it's a little bit early now. It sounds a bit off. What I can do is just left click on it and just drag it on over here. You can zoom in closer just to get a little bit more accurate. There we go. Okay, awesome. So now that we've got drums, we've got chord progression, and we've got a bass line, it's time to add a main melody. And this is where it gets a little bit more fun and a little bit more challenging as well. So here in Odyssey, you can actually use your computer keyboard in order to play notes. So you can use the ASDF row. You can also use the ZXC row, which is a lower octave, and you can use the QWERTY row, which is one octave higher. So I am just going to play back this loop and I'm going to try to come up with a melody. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to jam here. Okay, cool. So I already came up with that little melody over here. And let's say that I'm quite pleased with what I came up with. All I have to do is to press the tilde button on my keyboard, because if you notice, as the loop just continued to play, the notes that were being placed in the Odyssey interface were erased as soon as the loop started over. This is the magic recorder feature. Basically, the magic recorder just records all of the key presses that you make until the loop or the 4-bar progression or 8-bar progression, if that's what you've set. When that ends, it'll wipe all the notes and it'll just start recording again. Now, if you've already come up with something that you like, as what happened here with these bunch of notes here, all I gotta do is to press the tilt button and Odyssey will place it in the Odyssey interface and you can play it back. Yeah, and just like what we did earlier with the bass line, we can still edit these notes just to make them a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to do just that. Just going to drag them because my keyboard playing wasn't really that spot on. So let's just move them a little bit. And the cool thing about Odyssey is it snaps your notes on the grid. So it's just a lot easier to keep them all in time. Let's play that back. Cool. I think I'm going to add a little bit of delay here. Yeah, so there you go. That is a melody that I came up with on the spot. Super easy to do. And that's why I think Odyssey is like a fantastic program for DJ producers who are both new to the game and who've been at it for a while now. So let's say that you're happy with this already. All you got to do is left click on export and then you can choose whether to export this as MIDI or to export as audio. If you export this as MIDI, you'll be able to import this into your main DAW, whether it's Ableton Live, Logic, if you're using Pro Tools or Studio One or basically any other digital audio workstation out in the market. MIDI is compatible with all of those. So if you export your project as MIDI, you'll be able to import them into your main DAW. Now you can also export this as audio and you will get all of the sounds that you use in Odyssey as is. So let's say that you just want to send a quick demo out to your friend or your writing partner or collaborator. You can export this as audio and then send it over to them via email or WeTransfer and just tell them, okay, here's an idea that I have. Care to flesh it out with me? Let me know what you think and all that other stuff. So you have those two options. Now, before I end this talk through, I just want to let you guys listen to a project that I came up with yesterday. Let's go to the My Projects page again. Gonna left click on Odesi. Yeah. So this is something I came up with literally in like 3 or 4 minutes, super quick. So I've got a drum part over here. I've got a bass line, chord progression, and a melody, which I just jammed with using the magic recorder. So yeah, so it's really easy to come up with these quick melodic sketches for ideas that you've got for your songs, and then you can just save them in your laptop and you can revisit them later on when you are really working on producing or fleshing out the entire track. I always try to make at least 2 or 3 ideas for songs every week because not only does it keep my creative juices flowing and it keeps me on my toes, but at the same time it ensures that I've got a bank of ideas that I can call whenever it comes time for me to produce. So that really lessens the occurrence of being faced with a blank DAW screen and not knowing what to do. That can be pretty daunting and intimidating, but I haven't felt that way in a while because, well, I've just gotten to the habit of using Odyssey and using my melodic sketches. Alright, so what are my thoughts on Odyssey? Well, there are 3 things that I really like about it. First up is that it's super easy to use. Let's say you want to come up with a song, but you don't know where to begin. Odyssey gives you the foundations in order to create an idea for the track that you want to create. It already has the drums there. You don't need to craft drum parts by hand. It already has a selection of really useful drum parts that are common in different dance music styles. You've also got chord progressions there, the most used ones. They're gonna sound pretty familiar, I can guarantee you. And you also have a selection of bass lines. Now, apart from these foundational aspects of making a tune, Odyssey also has a lot of great sounds on board. Now, the latest version of Odyssey comes in with like so many different sounds that you can use in order to create chord progressions. If you want to create piano leads, if you want to make pluck sounds, let's say you're making an EDM track and all of these other dance music genres, Odyssey has those sounds built in. In the first version of Odyssey, a few years back, they didn't have this just yet. So it's really nice to see the program evolving to the point that it really is a bit of a DAW in its own right, albeit a very simple and easy to use one. Now, the third thing that I like about Odyssey is that it's got the new Magic Recorder feature. I always find that whenever I approach making a tune, what I do is I write a quick sketch of a melodic idea that I have. Maybe I'm gonna hum it in the car, or as I'm doing other mundane things, sometimes just a melody pops in my head. But most of the time, the way I write melodic lines, leads, or even vocal parts is I will jam to a chord progression. So let's say I've got like 3 or 4 chords that are just playing in loop. What I do is I get a piano keyboard and then I just mess around with the notes. I use a pattern like the minor pentatonic scale or something similar. And then basically that's how I come up with the notes. And then I just keep on jamming until I come up with something nice. Now, the Magic Recorder feature makes it super easy to do this because basically you're able to do everything within the Odyssey software, and Odyssey keeps track of all of the notes that you play. Now, whenever the loop, or let's say you're making a 4-bar passage, whenever that 4-bar passage ends and it begins again, the playhead goes back to the start, and then all of the notes that you just played disappear. However, if you want to commit those notes to your project, all you have to do is press the tilde button on your keyboard, and Odyssey automatically puts that within the measures of your loop. And I think that's really, really cool, because that means that you're given a lot more freedom to just jam and improvise along with the chord progression without having to worry so much about the technical side of things, especially if basically you can set the musical key within Odyssey, and that means that all the notes that you press will be in the same key as the rest of the elements in your tune. So I think that is super, super helpful. And at the same time, if you are just a new producer and you really aren't that used to coming up with your own melodies or bass lines just yet, this is a good training tool to help you get into the swing of things. Likewise, if you are a veteran DJ producer, the Magic Recorder feature just gives you a handy way to come up with musical ideas quickly, and it gives you the ability to commit them to your project without having to hit record and press undo every time you come up with something that you end up not liking. So that's it for this talk-through video of Odyssey. I've got the full review of it over at the Digital DJ Tips website. The link is in the description box below. Hit the thumbs up icon if you like this video, and hit that subscribe button if you are not a subscriber yet. My name is Joey. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.